இல்லை கமல் சார் வந்து ஐடல் மட்டும் இல்லை, இது ஐ மீன் என்னோட ஃப்ரெண்டுலாம் நான் சொல்ல முடியாது. பட் இன்னைக்கு கூட நான் பார்க்கும்போது அவரோட பழகும்போது ஒரு ஃபேன் பாயாக தான் பழகுறேங்க. அவரை வந்து நம்ம ஃப்ரெண்டெல்லாம் கூப்பிடுறது பெரிய தப்பு. இல்லை என்ன பாசிபிள். இவ்வளோ தூரம் வந்துட்டேன், செட்டுக்கு வந்துட்டேன், இப்போ போய் பயந்தெல்லாம் பிரயோஜனம் கிடையாது. Just take that one shot, the first shot. Just take whatever you're supposed to take. Just take one shot at a time.
But Madhavan sir, you know how the trade works. The commercial element என்ன இருக்கு?
இதே ஆடியன்ஸ் தான் கிராவிட்டி பார்க்குறாங்க, இதே ஆடியன்ஸ் தான் இன்டர்ஸ்டெல்லர் பார்க்குறாங்க. என்ன கமர்ஷியல் எலிமெண்ட் இருக்கு? ஸோ ஐ திங்க் த ஆடியன்ஸஸ் ஆர் ரெடி. நீங்கள் வந்து ஒரு மரியாதை புருஷோத்தம், உங்களுக்கு வந்து எந்த விதமான கெட்ட எண்ணமும் இல்லை, எந்த குவாலிட்டியும் இல்லை அப்படின்னு ஒரு படம் பண்ண போகிறேன்னு நினச்சிங்கன்னா அதுக்கு நான் ஆள் இல்லை. உங்களுக்கு கொடூரமான குவாலிட்டி என்ன, உங்ககிட்ட நெகட்டிவ் குவாலிட்டிஸ் என்ன, நீங்கள் வந்து உண்மையிலேயே உங்களோட எஃபேர் வச்சிங்களா இல்லையா, இல்லை வேறு யாராவது வச்சு பண்ணீங்களா, என்ன பண்ணீங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்லும்போது உங்களோட நெகட்டிவ் குவாலிட்டிஸ் பற்றி எனக்கு சொல்லுங்கள். அப்போ தான் உங்கள் பாசிட்டிவ் குவாலிட்டிஸ்க்கு அர்த்தம் இருக்குன்னு சொல்லும்போது. சூர்யா வந்து நல்ல நண்பர் அவர். ஏன்னா வந்து முதல் வாட்டி நம்பி நாராயணா பார்க்கும்போது அவரோட ரியாக்ஷன் நான் கேமராவில் கேப்ச்சு வச்சுருக்கேன். விஜுவல் ரிலீஸ் சூன். இட்ஸ் ஜஸ்ட் அவரோட ஆச்சரியத்தோட அவரோட அன்பு அண்ட் மரியாதை எனக்கு நல்லா தெரியுது.
Because you already had a huge following among lady audiences.
Correct. Here is an actual fact which is for everybody to see in Instagram. 73% of my followers are men.
We are again on the red carpet, and I have this week with me none other than Madhavan, who's debuting as a director. He's making a very unusual film, and it's called Rocketry. And it's been making waves even before its release. Madhavan turning director itself, you know, all these years, 22 years after Alai Paide, he's turning director, and he was forced to turn director. Well, let's meet up with Madhavan.
Thank you so much. Lovely to meet you again, Mr. Sridhar. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So, how has it been? I mean, you're thick and thin of it. You said you're not going to turn a director, and I think this project was forced on you, rather.
That is correct. That was a mantle I never expected to take, either with voluntarily or involuntarily. But after preparing for a film like Rocketry for many months, நான் வந்து எதிர்பார்க்காத சூழ்நிலை வந்து படம் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணுறதுக்கு கிட்டத்தட்ட 25 நாள் முன்னாடி என்னோடய இயக்குனர்னால அந்த படத்தை செய்ய முடியல. பிகாஸ் நம்ம வந்து காலதாமதமாக அந்த படத்தோட ஷூட்டிங் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணோம். ஏன்னா பல மொழியில் நம்ம வந்து காஸ்டிங் பண்ண வேண்டியதாக போச்சு. அதனால் வந்து என்ன நடந்துச்சுன்னா, நம்ம வந்து படத்தை ஷூட்டிங் லேட்டாக ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணோம். அந்த டைரக்டரால் வர முடியல. ஸோ படத்தை ட்ராப் பண்ணிடலாமா, இல்லை ஒரு 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 வெறித்தனத்தில் ஒரு குறிட்டு மதிப்பில் நம்ம ஷூட்டிங் பண்ணிடலாமாங்கிற ஒரு கேள்வி தான் நம்ம முன்னாடி இருக்கும்போது, நம்பி நாராயண் சார் உன்னால் பண்ண முடியும், பிகாஸ் உனக்கு இந்த சப்ஜெக்ட் நல்லா தெரிஞ்சிருக்கு, ஒரு லிக்விட் ஃபியூல் இன்ஜின் எப்படி வேலை செய்யணும்னு தெரிஞ்சிருக்கு, இதான் நீ எழுதியிருக்க, ஸோ நீங்கள் கண்டிப்பாக டைரக்ட் பண்ணணும்னு சொன்னார். என்னோடய ஃபண்டர்ஸ் கூட அக்ரி பண்ணாங்க. ஸோ in a moment of bravado, I said yes. But I think when I went onto the set for the first day, the Herculean task of what stood in front of me was actually inundating. And என்ன பண்ணலான்னு யோசிக்கும் போது என்னோடய ஃப்ரெண்ட் ஒருத்தர் ஃபோன் பண்ணி he said, இவ்வளோ தூரம் வந்துட்டேன், செட்டுக்கு வந்துட்டேன், இப்போ போய் பயந்தெல்லாம் பிரயோஜனம் கிடையாது. Just take that one shot, the first shot. Just take whatever you're supposed to take. Just take one shot at a time and see what happens. So he did that, and I took the first shot, and then many shots later.
A guy like you who came from the Mani Ratnam school, I mean, direction should come, you know.
I've never been a film student. I've never studied cinema, never studied acting, nor direction, nor editing. Sridhar sir, I've never been to an edit room. All my directors will tell you. I've at best advised on what could be cut and what could be removed in terms of the narrative. But the closest I've come to any form of technical aspect of film apart from acting is in screenplays of my movies. So I've only advised and written some of the screenplays. I don't think I had the ability to direct. In today's world, in a very discerning audience who are quick to like shred you to bits, if you just go there with a capability that is not as good as your acting. For instance, when they say you know how to act, why are you going into crap like that? So அந்த கம்பேரிசன் வந்தாலே நம்மளை வந்து கிழிச்சிருவாங்கன்னு நமக்கு தெரியும். ஸோ அந்த தகுதி இல்லாமல் இருக்கும்போது நான் எப்படி அதை ஒத்துக்கிறது சொல்லுங்கள்? I wrote the script because I understood the subject. I spent time with Dr. Nambi Narayanan 1 year, 1.5 years. அது அந்த அவரோட வாழ்க்கையை பற்றி தெரிஞ்சதுனால தான் என்னால் ஓரளவுக்கு எழுத முடிஞ்சுது. I wanted to act. ஸோ அது வந்து இட்ஸ் கிவன் every actor dreams of doing a lifetime role like நாயகன் சின்ன வயசுலேருந்து பெரிய வயசு வரைக்கும் போகிற மாதிரி ஒரு ரோல். ஸோ அது வந்து அது வந்து ஒரு வெறித்தனத்தில் ப்ளஸ் ஐ நோ டெக்னாலஜி, ஐ am aerospace is close to me, அதனால் I know it will be a good thing. But producing it was not a choice because nobody wanted to produce the film because it had no commercial elements, what they thought. I thought it was a completely commercial film. So I ended up producing it with Vijay Mulan as well as Dr. Varghese Mulan and 27th Entertainment.
What do you have to say about the phenomenal success of Vikram? What made it? Because Kamal sir is your close friend.
Oh no, more than that, he's my idol. As an actor, I consider that there is no other actor like him in the world. இல்லை கமல் சார் வந்து ஐடல் மட்டும் இல்லை, இது ஐ மீன் என்னோட ஃப்ரெண்டுலாம் நான் சொல்ல முடியாது. அவர் வந்து நம்ம வந்து ஃப்ரெண்டாக யோசிக்கிறது வந்து தப்பு. அவர் நான் அவரோட பெரிய தீவிர ரசிகன், பக்தன்னு கூட சொல்லலாம். அவர் நடிப்பு மாதிரி ஆமாம், அன்பே சிவம் நிறைய 2 படம் 3 படம் பண்ணிட்டான் அவரோட. ஆக்சுவலி அதில் வந்து கெஸ்ட் அப்பியரன்ஸாக வந்து நலதமயத்தில் வந்தார், அப்புறம் மன்மத நம்பு. பட் இன்னைக்கு கூட நான் பார்க்கும்போது அவரோட பழகும்போது ஒரு ஃபேன் பாயாக தான் பழகுறேங்க. அவரை வந்து நம்ம ஃப்ரெண்டெல்லாம் கூப்பிடுறது பெரிய தப்பு, இல்லை நாட் பாசிபிள். பட் அவர்கிட்ட நான் அந்த ட்ரெய்லர் காட்டும்போது when I met him in Cannes, he was like, ஆடி ரொம்ப நல்லா இருக்கு, நீ டைரக்ட் பண்ணி அப்படின்னு கேட்டார். ஆமாம் சார் அப்படின்னு நான் கொஞ்சம் வெக்கப்பட்டு சொன்னேன். இட்ஸ் இட் வெரி குட், இந்த மாதிரி தான் வரணும் அப்படின்னு அவர் சொன்னது எனக்கு ஞாபகம். எனக்கு ரொம்ப சந்தோஷமாக இருக்குது. ஏன்னா கமல் சார் ஃபைனலி விக்ரம்ங்கிற படம் பண்ணி இட்ஸ் கிரியேட்டிங் ஹிஸ்ட்ரி இன் டர்ம்ஸ் ஆஃப் கலெக்ஷன்ஸ் அண்ட் இட் இஸ் அபவுட் டைம். ஐ திங்க் வி நீட் டு செலிப்ரேட் த டேலண்ட் ஆஃப் கமல் சார் as an actor throughout the world, even now. These people are stalwarts. Just because Mozart was in Vienna at that time, he was buried in a unmarked grave. அவர் எங்கே இறந்து போனார், மக்கள் ஒரு பணத்தோட அவங்கள வந்து பெரி பண்ணிட்டாங்க. அப்புறம் தான் ஐயோ மோட்சாட்டா அப்படின்னு நம்ம பேசுகிறோம். ஐ திங்க் நான் சொல்கிற அர்த்தம் உங்களுக்கு புரியுதில்ல. We have to celebrate him as an international star, as somebody who's capable of so much more, and I'm very happy that Vikram is the first step. I think we're going to see a lot more.
Vikram has taken Tamil cinema to a different level, a very level. And now the world market is also open because in overseas this film has done the best.
Correct.
In
So
2022.
Far. Correct.
Even it is outbeaten Hindi cinema in a big way.
Correct. And that's the trend of things to come. And I think and it is not because of just a stardom, and I'm அவரோட ஸ்டார்டம்காக மட்டும் இல்லை, உண்மையிலேயே நல்ல படமாக இருக்கு. It's exciting.
Like you said, different content.
ஸோ அது வந்து அந்த வயசில் கூட அந்த மாதிரி சப்ஜெக்ட் யூஸ் பண்ணுறதுக்கு வந்து ஒரு தைரியம் இருக்குது பாருங்க. இன்டர்வலுக்கு அப்புறம் தான் வரேன்றது பெரிய விஷயம் இல்லையா? அது ஏன்னா பொதுவாக யாரும் ஒத்துக்க மாட்டாங்க. சல்மான் படத்தில் நான் வந்து இன்டர்வலுக்கு அப்புறம் வரேன் அப்படின்னு ஒத்துக்கிறதுக்கு ஒரு தைரியம் வேணும் இல்லையா? அந்த தைரியம் இருக்கு பாருங்க, அந்த ஃபோர்சைட் இருக்கு பாருங்க, அதனால தான் ஜெயிக்குது. அண்ட் ஐ திங்க் சார் வந்து பயப்படாமல் எதையுமே கவலைப்படாமல் எது கமல் சாருக்கு நல்லதோ அப்படிங்கிற சப்ஜெக்ட்ஸ் அவர் பண்ணும்போது ஐ திங்க் இட்ஸ் கோயிங் டு டேக் தமிழ் சினிமா டு கிரேட்டர் ஹைட்ஸ் விச் வி டிசர்வ் டு பி இன் வித் த கைண்ட் ஆஃப் டேலண்ட் வி ஹேவ். ஐ மீன் லுக், எவ்வளோ டேலண்ட் இருக்குங்க தமிழ் இண்டஸ்ட்ரியில்.
திஸ் இஸ் சம்திங் Madhavan has been known for making very good commercial cinemas, the family type, but here you are going to do a film on an unsung hero, and your previous release in Tamil, Vikram Veda, was a blockbuster hit. Now it's being made in Hindi also. And it's an action movie, and this is the age of action films. Why did you go make a film on an unsung hero who nobody knew?
One of the weaknesses of our industry is to immediately try and slot how the audience will react to anything. So describing it to be an action era or a romance era is one of the things that we all do, try to analyze how the public will...
But that's the way the industry functions.
The only thing that I will tell you about the function of the industry is it constantly changes. They can never ever say what's going to work. In an era when action was working, Alaipai made a difference, Minnale made a difference. When Mille was working, Run made a difference. So when everything was not working in terms of the small production, Vikram Veda came in different. When nobody thought sports film will do, we did Iridi Sutra. So I've understood that there is no formula in that front. But again, the question you ask is extremely valid because on first glance, இந்த படத்துல வந்து எந்த விதமான கமர்ஷியல் மேட்டரும் இல்லையே அப்படிங்கிறது தான் தெரியும். ஆனால் நம்பி நாராயண் சாரோட வாழ்க்கை வந்து அதோட பெரிய சினிமா இருக்கவே முடியாது. அவர் பற்றி நம்ம சாதாரண மனுஷனை பற்றி பேசலை. We are talking about a rocket scientist, a Tamilian, an extraordinary rocket scientist who was given the Padma Bhushan, a man who developed a rocket engine that has never failed. அதோட டெக்னாலஜி, I mean, it's a spec. And him going to Russia and smuggling engines back to India because they were not going to give it to us, or going to Scotland and getting 400 million pounds worth of equipment, or going to Princeton and doing a thesis in 10 months under the most profound scientist called Kroko. இதெல்லாம் வந்து ஒரு சாதாரண மனுஷனால சாதிக்கவே முடியாது இல்லையா?
But Madhavan sir, you know how the trade works. The commercial element என்ன இருக்கு?
இவரோட கதை தான் சார் கதை. ஏன்னா ஐ திங்க் வி ஃபார் அண்டர் எஸ்டிமேட் ஆர் ஆடியன்ஸ். இதே ஆடியன்ஸ் தான் கிராவிட்டி பார்க்குறாங்க, இதே ஆடியன்ஸ் தான் இன்டர்ஸ்டெல்லர் பார்க்குறாங்களே. என்ன கமர்ஷியல் எலிமெண்ட் இருக்குது? இதே ஆடியன்ஸ் தான் வந்து எல்லா படமும் நீங்கள் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா எனக்கு வந்து இன்செப்ஷன்ங்கிற படம் இன்னும் புரியல, பட் இட்ஸ் மேட் 100 crores in India. அதான் கமர்ஷியல். என்ன கமர்ஷியல் இருக்குது அதில்? எங்கே போய் விசில் அடித்தாங்க அவங்க? ஸோ I think the audiences are ready. I don't think I've seen any film in India come out which is so intellectually superior that the audience didn't understand. We've thought of being intellectually superior, but we've fallen flat on our faces, and they've given us exactly what we deserve. So I'm very confident that this is going to be a huge commercial film. How it does and what I've done as a director, of course, is anybody's guess. So,
but a biopic on a cop or somebody who's an action hero works so far about what we have seen in...
I think you're going to get into trouble for asking these questions over and over again, because the audiences are very, very clear what I'm saying. It's very evident what I'm trying to tell you. The ability of the audience to consume content, and if it's a meritorious one, is going to be absolutely up there. They will do their research. You saw the press conference today. And the kind of questions the press came up with. I mean, this is the kind of... I mean, they were talking about cryogenic engine and the stability margins and stuff. The press, the media.
And you also said about the rocket engine never seen before in cinema.
In any cinema, exactly. So, in today's world, we have to become so cautious with what we do, because they are so sharp. You see the comments on all the interviews and videos, we look at it, they are no bullshit. They go after me. They're like, how can you say things like this? It's not factually correct. Or why are we not prepared for that interview? Or I have to be very careful with what I do. So I'm very sure that they will... I had to do a lot of research and a lot of homework before I could get this opportunity.
Okay. And you said that you met Nambi Narayanan and explained to him. Would you just give me a brief on why you met him and how the script evolved?
So I went there with a very shallow intent, sir. Like most people know, I thought it's going to be a story about a rocket scientist who had an affair with a Maldivian woman, a good-looking guy. And I thought I'll get my chance to play a quick, poor man's James Bond film. அதான் பண்ணாங்கிற அந்த கொச்ச எண்ணத்தோடு தான் நான் அவரை சந்திக்க போனேன். But when I met him, Sridhar sir, I mean, the sheer magnitude of that man's tejas, and his intelligence was hitting me so much that it was very evident that not just me, all of the people had missed a point about him. He couldn't only be about this false case. And if you meet him, you'll understand what I'm saying. It's just an aura. You've already done an interview with him in 96. So you know what I'm saying, right? He's super intelligent, but I knew I was missing something.
He's a very intelligent man.
And 7 months later, after writing the script, he told me, he said, you've done very well, because I written only about the case. But he told me about the rest of his life, because he said some facts are wrong, because I was in Princeton during that time. And I said, when were you in Princeton?
Princeton. Nobody knew that he was in Princeton.
Nobody knew that.
Till your interview said that he's...
He's the first Ivy League scientist from India. He's the one who's developed the only engine that has not failed. He's gone with 52 scientists to France and achieved things that are unimaginable. And so all these things started unfolding, and I said, 1 minute, Nambi sir, why did you not talk about all this to me or anybody earlier? He said, what is there to talk? They gave me a salary, I did my job. That hit me really hard. And the kind of patriots this country has, that really hit me hard. So when I wanted to write this story, நான் வந்து தெளிவாக அவர்கிட்ட கேட்டேன். I said, sir, உங்களை வந்து பறிஞ்சு நீங்கள் வந்து ஒரு மரியாதை புருஷோத்தம், உங்களுக்கு வந்து எந்த விதமான கெட்ட எண்ணமும் இல்லை, எந்த குவாலிட்டியும் இல்லை அப்படின்னு ஒரு படம் பண்ண போகிறேன்னு நினச்சிங்கன்னா அதுக்கு நான் ஆள் இல்லை. உங்களுக்கு கொடூரமான குவாலிட்டி என்ன, உங்ககிட்ட நெகட்டிவ் குவாலிட்டிஸ் என்ன, நீங்கள் வந்து உண்மையிலேயே உங்களோட எஃப்ஐஆர் வச்சிங்களா இல்லையா, இல்லை வேறு யாராவது வச்சு பண்ணீங்களா, என்ன பண்ணீங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்லும்போது உங்களோட நெகட்டிவ் குவாலிட்டிஸ் பற்றி எனக்கு சொல்லுங்கள், அப்போ தான் உங்கள் பாசிட்டிவ் குவாலிட்டிஸ்க்கு அர்த்தம் இருக்குன்னு சொல்லும்போது he didn't blink.
And will you be showing the emotional elements that he underwent? He had a terrible time when they named him and all those things. What are the emotional elements that come in? And his wife, she played a very crucial role.
Well, she bore the biggest brunt of the cruelty that we as a society...
And his family underwent the hell. You know it better, you must have.
Well, yes, and not just me, the entire cast and crew that got together to make this movie. There's no logical reason to have made this film because the budgets didn't make sense, the timelines didn't make sense, the challenges didn't make sense. It had to be like a passion and sort of madness, which is what we went through. And so yeah, we know all about the family and what they went through. And yes, I have. In fact, you would have seen in the trailer itself the kind of trauma he went through. And there is a reason why we are saying sometimes a man wronged is a nation wronged. And his family and this man being wronged has put back our country in terms of technology by almost 20 years.
Yeah. So, and you had met our Prime Minister Modi ji in April along with Nambi Narayanan. Would you tell us something about that meeting and what?
So I think the first thing that Modi ji did after he became a Prime Minister was announce the success of the Mangal mission, which happened. Of course, it was done at an earlier stage, but it became successful when he was there. And he made a point to meet Dr. Nambi Narayanan. And I realized then that this man actually is a huge fan of Dr. Nambi Narayanan's achievements.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. So when I started the film, in the படத்துல வந்து அவருக்கு compensation இல்ல பத்ம பூஷனோ கொடுக்கல யாருமே. I started in 2017. It's only in 2019 that he got the Padma Bhushan. So I had to take my script. And he's always been a great appreciator of scientists, And so I saw him meet Dr. Nambi Narayanan in front of my eyes with a lot of respect and a lot of affection. And I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah, great on part of Modi ji to call you and Nambi Narayanan and have a personal meeting.
Yeah, that too during the COVID era. In fact, he saved us. I'll tell you honestly. We were supposed to release the film on the 14th of April last year. And when I showed him the trailer and, bits of the film, and I told him, he said, "Aap release kab kar rahe hain?" And I told him on the 14th of April, he said, "Nahi karoge aap release." So I got worried because I already put in the money for publicity. And he said, "There is going to be a lockdown because of the way there is a possibility that lockdown will happen because of the way the case is going up, and I don't want you to waste your money. Hold it. I want you to dub the film in all the UN languages. This film has to be seen by the entire world." I remember him saying that, and that's how I got saved, or else I would have prepared for the 14th of April release and would have been ruined.
And will you be showing Modi ji the movie now?
It's about Nambi Narayanan. Yeah.
How was the reception in Cannes?
I was very nervous, Sridhar sir. It's when you do a first film, you expect it to be made in a single language, and you want it to be released and see how you do as a director. But this was a crazy project. Like I said, it happened and it got done and it got ready before the COVID era. And then we waited for 2 years to release the film. At that time, I never thought that the first time that the film will be seen by public is going to be at a podium like that of Cannes, where Cannes, as they call it, and that too as a India selection of the world premiere, and that too 1 month before the release. So if I had screwed up, then that would have been the end of our endeavor as far as Rocketry is concerned. So I was very, very nervous, but I still took the chance because everybody said we won't get a better opportunity to publicize the film. So அந்த படம் அங்கே வந்து காட்டும்போது I was like குட்டிப்பட்ட பூனை மாதிரி. I just didn't know what to do. I was praying hard. படம் படிச்சப்பறம் அவங்க வந்து எழுந்து கை தட்டினும் போது they kept clapping for 10 minutes. Standing ovation from, they were the most discerning audience. They were not likely to, you can't please them easily, from Rahman to Shekhar Kapoor to, and all the, the critics from this thing. And so I was very nervous. International critics over there, and they kept clapping. And I realized I don't know how much they clapped for me or the actor or the director, but they were definitely clapping for Nambi Narayanan sir. And then I realized that I didn't mess it up. I don't know how good a film I've made, but I haven't messed it up because the audience in Cannes are very capable of getting up and walking out quietly without telling you anything.
And your prosthetic, did you use prosthetic makeup or no?
Well, I'm so happy you asked that question. There are many firsts in this film that we've attempted, and I don't know how successful we are, but we realized that we were going to do it any which ways. One of the reasons is that all the scientists grow from 29 to 79 in this film. And we decided not to use prosthetics. I'll tell you the reason why also. So all the beard you see, the mustache you see, the color of the beard you see, it took us 14 hours on the chair to get it white, and the weight that we put on. I broke my jaw and changed the shape of my teeth to look like Nambi sir.
Okay.
Everything you see is original.
The picture that you published, both of you together, they look like separated at birth.
At birth. And it is very imperative for one particular point in my film for me to look like him. And when you see the film, you'll realize. And I didn't want the audience throughout the film to ever think that there's something false about this film. Not the wigs, there is no wigs, no, and nothing should ring false, which is the decision we all took, and all my actors complied. And I was very touched that they would, because it meant a lot more days and a lot more prep, and they were all ready for it.
SRK and Surya had gone out of their way to do cameo.
Yep.
How did you pull it off? In the sense that I believe they did it without any compensation.
சூர்யா வந்து நல்ல நண்பர் அவர்கிட்ட வந்து நம்ம இந்த கதையை பற்றி நான் முன்னாடி அவர்கிட்ட டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணியிருக்கேன், என்ன மாதிரி பண்ணுறீங்க அப்படின்னு. அவர் வந்து ஒரு அளவுக்கு மிரண்டு போயிருந்தார். ஏன்னா வந்து முதல் வாட்டி நம்பி நாராயணா பார்க்கும்போது அவரோட ரியாக்ஷன் நான் கேமராவில் கேப்ச்சு வச்சுருக்கேன், விச் வில் ரிலீஸ் சூன். இட்ஸ் ஜஸ்ட் அவரோட ஆச்சரியத்தோட அவரோட அன்பு மரியாதை எனக்கு நல்லா தெரியுது. ஸோ when I told Shah Rukh about this story while shooting Zero, Shah Rukh was excited. He said, you do something, always do something different. I'm so excited about it. He told me that. Then on his birthday, when I went to meet him, he hugged me and he said, Maddie, that rocket science film, I want to be part of it. I said, thank you very much, sir, for remembering the script, because it's much after the shoot. Then he said, no, I'm serious. I want to be part of it. I said, okay, thank you. He said, he's taking it as a joke. I'm telling you I want to be. I said, okay, sir. And both Sarita and I thanked him, hugged him, and we left. 2 days later, I messaged his manager, because Sarita says, be polite and thank him for remembering your script. So when I messaged him, she called back and says, when is the dates you want? Tell me. I don't have all the time. I said, Daddy, don't give me all these, dreams. I'll
start believing. Star like SRK.
Yeah, I'll start believing it is true. He said, Maddie, do you want him or not? I said, I don't have a role which is passing in the background. How can I keep... I said, there's a role. It's quite an important role. And how many days do you need? And that's how it started. He came with his team, he came with his costume, he came with the prep. He sat with me, he asked me what has to be done. He didn't take any money for anything. And on top of that, I thought he was doing it because he loved and respected me. But when he met Nambi Narayanan, I realized it was all for him as well. The sheer amount of respect that both of them, even Surya, flew all. அவர் வந்து காசே வாங்கல, ஃபுல் டீமோட வந்து பறந்து. he came to Bombay. என் கூட உட்காந்து ஸ்கிரிப்டில் உட்காந்து இந்த டயலாக்ஸ் எல்லாம் நம்ம வந்து ஹிந்தியில் இங்கிலீஷில் நல்லா எழுதிட்டீங்க, தமிழில் வந்து இது அப்ரோப்ரியேட்டாக நம்ம மாற்றணுன்ட்டு ஞானவேல் சரோட உட்காந்து he made the dialogues of his lines. Also he corrected it. என்ன பண்ணாலும் கரெக்டாக பண்ணணும்னு நினைக்கிற ஒரு ஆர்டிஸ்டாக இருக்கிறதுனால தான் இவ்வளோ வருஷமாக அவர் வந்து இவ்வளோ பெரிய பேரில் இருக்காங்க. அண்ட் ஐ எம் வெரி டச்ட். And I think even he did it for the sake of... when you see him in the film, when you see how they have performed, I don't want to give it away because it's a...
that's better that way.
Yeah, but you'll see the feeling.
The surprise element, let it remain like that. But you will be putting it in the promotional campaign, both of them are doing the movie, or...
they're already there in the trailer.
Okay, so it's nothing to really...
I'm feeling happy about it for another reason. You see, I've been doing Rocketry for such a long time. And one of my biggest challenges in Rocketry is going to be getting out of character and getting out of this mold of being a director, writer and having control over the whole set. That's poison for me. As an actor and as a producer, it's poison. I need to get out of it. And I need to be able to cleanse myself. ஒரு செட்டுக்கு போய் டேரக்டர் சர்ட்ட போய், சார் நீங்கள் தான் டேரக்டர், எனக்கு என்ன பண்ணணும்னு சொல்லுங்கள் அப்படிங்கிற அந்த இன்னசென்ஸ் எனக்கு திரும்பி வரணும். இல்லாட்டா நானே அங்கே போய் வேசியா இவர் தப்பாக பண்ணிட்டுருக்கானே, தப்பாக ஷார்ட் எடுத்துகிட்டு இருக்கானே அப்படிங்கிறது மனசில் வந்துருச்சுன்னா I will never be able to progress. With Decoupled, I was able to cleanse myself. It is nothing like Nambi Narayanan. It is a wild, crazy,
nasty character.
No, I'm very happily nasty. And
very happily worked it out. That's why it worked big time.
He was unapologetic. He's scruffy, and I think he became
somebody who wouldn't like to know too much about.
Actually, he's well. If you look at the demography of the people who enjoyed Decoupled, you will be surprised. Do you know which category of people enjoyed Decoupled the most? Not the women. It is boys between the age group of 14 to 38. 70% of the liking is from that age group. So can you imagine? I mean, we got... In fact, do you know, Sridhar sir, what percentage of my fan following in Instagram and Twitter do you think are women compared to men?
I think there's a huge youth following for you.
Yeah. What percentage of men and women? I'm just asking you because of popular perceptions.
50-50.
You think 50%, 50%?
Because you already had a huge following among lady audiences.
Correct. Here is the actual fact, which is for everybody to see in Instagram. 73% of my followers are men. and only 27%
7%
are women. Out of the 73%, the age group of people who follow me the most is between the age group of 13 to 38 boys. That's my fan following. And so the women are overt in expressing their love and affection for us. Men don't come and hug us or ask for autographs. But it was just a data that blew my mind. And suddenly I realized I am only trying to make romantic stories, but that's only 23% of my market.
Yeah, and also that chocolate boy image that the media created for you in the early stages of your career.
Exactly. And the women followed that, But I am 53. I'm not a boy by any style. There's no part of my body that's a boy.
But that way it's good, yeah? You have the youth audience in your pocket.
I think more because of my choice of subjects and the fact that I choose to be aspirational for them and don't take their attention to me for granted,
Will you be doing Vikram Veda too? Anything in the pipeline with Pushkar Gayatri?
No, I don't think, I think they're done with Vikram Veda because they've been, poor things have been with it for the last 5 years after the release of the original Vikram Veda, and now they have this huge task of replicating the success of that in Hindi, which I'm sure they will do because they're very smart. Look at what they did with Suel, They're great creators,
Suel is a lovely series.
Extraordinary, So I know their capabilities. I don't want them to keep harping around Vikram Veda 2 because I don't think that will be a heartfelt venture. It will be a commercial venture for sure. And we'll be fighting battles we don't need to fight about having it compared to the original and stuff.
Great talking to you, man.
Pleasure as usual, Sridhar sir. Thank you so much.
You.
Thank you.